So before we get started, I will say I've got a list of questions here that we can ask if we need to for the panel members. But we'd really like for this to be an open discussion and people ask questions. If you have them, just shoot your hand up or shout it out or whatever. So I'd like for everybody to get a chance to speak. But with that, I guess we will start by saying your name, your business, what year you presented for 1 Million Cups, and any exciting things that happened in 2022 or that you anticipate for 2023. So, Jordan, if you want to start off.
Sure. My name is Jordan Fields. I presented this summer, so summer of 2022. My business is Simo Art Studio, and this isn't that exciting, but it is a change for me. My location closed, so my business is homeless. My name is Bailey Garrison. I am the president of our Sedalia Young Professionals, and I presented, I believe, in late spring of last year. For 2022, I guess something that happened was we revamped our group, so we were kind of put on pause for a couple of years during COVID, and so we just created a whole new board. For 2023, we definitely have a lot of good events coming up that I'll touch on a little bit later.
I'm Afton Rube. I am with the Well Balanced Table, and I presented in, 2023, last month. 2022 is when I started Fresh to Fit, and then 2023 is when it changed to the Well Balanced Table. So I rebranded and combined two businesses into one.
My name is Megan Funkhauser. I am the co-owner of Funky Bunch Pet Care, and Colin spoke, I think, in 2021.
Yes.
And something exciting that we started in 2022 and implementing now more in 2023 is not only do we do dog walking and pet sitting, but we offer now adventure hikes for dogs.
I'm Colin Funkhauser, co-owner of Funky Bunch Pet Care. A lot of the stuff she said. Yeah, we're really excited about the adventure hikes, taking dogs out for a bit and exercising them.
I'm Maritza Ivy, the Director of Outreach and Marketing for the Center for Human Services. We presented in August of last year, and since then we are getting a kickoff of our rebranding initiative across the state of Missouri, getting all of our signage put up. And this upcoming year, something exciting is we will have our full expansion in the St. Louis area to serve more children and adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
I'm Micah Vogler. I have Serene Space Massage in downtown Sedalia. I presented last month, so not a lot has happened since then. But I will be adding different massage techniques to my practice. I'm going on a retreat in Asheville, North Carolina coming up in March. And then I'll be going again in May, and I'll be certified in a technique called Esalen massage that I'll bring back to Sedalia this summer, probably.
What was the question specifically? Was just what's your name, what's your business, and then what were the questions?
What was exciting in 2022 or something you anticipate for 23?
Okay. So my name is Brandy Von Holton, and I own several businesses. We own Von Holton Ranch, and then we own Von Holton Ranch Wedding and Event Venue at One Missouri's Best Place to Get Married. And then I myself am an LLC. I do business coaching, and then I have Missouri's Best Podcast. And then we have a business called Building with David, where my husband makes at-home woodshop building kits for homeschool and private school and public schools. And then I am the only mounted archery instructor in Missouri. So things that happened in 2022 was we actually decided to not be open 300 some odd days. We're only open 118 for this year. And our business is so freaking busy for people making reservations because we became more rare. Our anticipated growth for this year is for Building with David to exceed financially what Von Holton Ranch and the wedding and event venue may combine. So we're trying to change things up. Brandy Von Holton. Brandy's a whiskey, not a wine. That's my personality.
I can't even follow that one.
He's my, I did a podcast interview with him, and he's my next, one that'll be, on there.
Yeah,
We work
that's
together a
fine,
lot.
So my name's Mark Kessner. I own Bluebird Outdoor Adventures RV Rentals, RV Park in Cole Camp. I think I presented a long, long time ago, 2016 maybe, 2017, something like that. So this would have to be a whole other meeting for me to tell you guys what all is new and what's been happening. But just recently, I've added, this year for sure, I've already started, got a lot of things booked right now, is a crappie guide service on Truman Lake. So give me a call if you wanna do some live scoping and camping. Last year, I actually added 4 brand new units to my inventory, so they're, still working on getting a couple of those on the website, so a lot of things going on.
I'm Anita Barrick. I'm sorry about the phone call. I own Happiness Handicrafts in downtown Sedalia. I presented last November, and the big thing in 2022 was that we opened in May. But since then, I went through my first holiday season. I've learned that 2 things drive traffic to my shop: downtown activities, thank you, Jolie, and strolling weather, which we are not having. For 2023, there are several initiatives. The website is up and running. My next Showcase Sedalia ad will include a coupon to try and bring some traffic into the store. And as you can see on the table, I've started Crochet for a Cause, which is my first charity project through the shop. Also yesterday, I hooked up with my State Fair digital marketing students. We start meeting next week, and I'm very excited.
Very good, thank you guys. So, I'll jump into our first question. Hindsight is 2020. When you get farther into your journey of entrepreneurship, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently when you were first starting out? And I would say we can start here, but if you don't have your answer yet, then if we have somebody that does, then we can just kind of rotate through. So, anybody who wants to start out.
Well, I'm so new, I don't have anything yet.
One of the biggest things was, the more I am myself, the more I find my clientele. And I used to really get upset about negative things being said about me, but now I don't care. Like I do, like right now my TikTok just went from 8,000 followers to 34,000 followers in the last 20 days because of doing ice water baths. And being a heavy set woman in a bathing suit, doing an ice water bath, like the comments are awesome. Okay. Gotta be pretty strong. And now I'm just, man, people want to take up for me and they're so proud that I will step out and do something crazy. But then all of those, that TikTok has like drove the business of all my other ones because of all the hashtags and stuff. So, I don't know. I don't get messed up about people talking bad about me. I'm just like, you ain't got no home training. You're not educated. And whatever. So I'll cry and wipe my tears with a $10 bill or something. You know? I don't know. I used to get really upset about people saying stuff about me, and now it has like drove people to me.
You mean $100 bill, right?
Whatever.
All the bills.
Any bill does not change.
Hey, just a quick one on that. So we were setting up for this podcast thing last week, I think. So she's showing me all this stuff, and there was a couple just rude comments, and she goes, I'll just reply back, and I don't know, who knows Brandy? So you all get this. Okay, so she's typing around there, she goes, okay, let me reply back. She goes, hey, thanks for the advice, I'll check back with you next week for more.
Yesterday, a guy told me I needed to put the fork down. I was like, awesome, and you should pick up a book. Thank you. Anyways, that's the main thing, is like, man, that negative stuff towards me used to just wreck me, and now I'm all like, okay, I got stuff to do. I don't know, it used to just tear me, I don't know, used to just really upset me, and now it doesn't. So that's something that I wish I would have, and I'm a different person, and then it just seems like I'm not for everybody, and now I know that, and it's okay, but there's so many people in the world, like it's okay that not everybody likes me, because I don't like everybody yet.
And so,
Nope,
Go right ahead.
So something, and I learned last year a valuable lesson when you wanna start a business and you wanna take that leap and you don't wanna work for the other guy and make the other guy or the big conglomerate all the money, is the finance part of it. I absolutely hate putting in receipts and the QuickBooks stuff. I'd pay somebody $1 million to do that. And my wife does almost all of it, but she wants paid, and I'm not too much about that. But if I had something to do over again, I would probably, before it really got, and I'm not bragging by no means, awful blessed, I would probably spend a little bit more time or take some kind of a class on the finance part with the bookkeeping, stuff like that, because my file cabinet is a console of my truck. And my wife, I mean, there's been almost divorce days when I'll bring in a handful of things and then have to explain. And honestly, you kind of forget, you get busy doing stuff and it's hard to be disciplined enough to go in every day or every week or whatever and put all that stuff in and make sure, because I'm telling you, when it comes time to take stuff to your tax guy, instead of just downloading on a thumb drive and taking it down there, you have to take it in a Walmart bag. That sucks.
I'm with you on that. I'll answer. I think starting out for me, just patience and consistency. Just continuing to put myself out there and wait for clientele to come to me. And I've picked up pretty quickly, but I guess like there's been weeks where I've been nervous or wondering, am I gonna have enough clients this week? But with me continuing to put myself out there and continuing to be patient and consistent, the clients come. And I'm also good about updating my social media pages and putting myself out there that way too. And then also with massage therapy, I use that as a platform for education. Educating clients about what I do, educating them about their bodies and then dysfunction in their bodies, and then how as a massage therapist I work with them in that dysfunction.
Go. So for the young professionals, obviously isn't a for-profit business, but as an organization, starting out, I could not have been more thankful for the support that we had from our community. From Deborah being our, I call them our mother umbrella, the chamber, so we're underneath them. We have fantastic support from them, just our community in general. My board members, I have a few of them up here with me right now, actually, and they have just done a fantastic job of helping us really hit the ground running on what we've been doing. I guess one thing that if I would do differently is I would reach out to some more of the connections that I didn't necessarily even realize that I could, so more of the multimedia, whether it be newspaper or radio. We have a couple events that are coming up, and I didn't realize how easy it was for me to just send something to them, and they'll be like, yeah, we'll put a story together, or come visit us, or this and that. And so that's something that I wish I would have started doing sooner when we were looking at recruiting for new members and when we were starting out.
I think for us, for me personally, it would be understanding the differences between what the needs that I wanted or the needs that I have and the wants that I wanted in my life, and not being ashamed or afraid to ask for them, specifically around like charging higher prices or setting better boundaries in the business, or not being afraid to change and adapt, and knowing that the person that I will be today is not the person I'm going to be tomorrow, and that my business can evolve and change with that, and it should, and that's what we get to do as being business owners.
I was gonna say, take it more seriously. So as a pet sitter, as a dog walker, people just think that, it's super easy and it's puppy cuddles and kitty kisses all day, and sometimes it is, but there's also dog poop involved, and sometimes throw up involved, and so, this can really be a career, and I don't think that we noticed that when we first started out, that this can be a thing you can do for the rest of your life, and you can make it as much or as little as you want.
I think for the Center for Human Services, since we are in so many counties in Missouri, it's taking that extra step, building those contacts in other counties. I wish I would have started in not just on the newspaper side, but all of the print, digital, radio, reaching out to all those other contacts in Missouri. We're in 47 counties, and so it's just building those contacts and That is something in the last couple of months, we have really hit hard trying to go through, build those contacts, those connections, so that way we're spreading our mission in more counties.
Something that really helped me out a lot is, man, I always thought everything had to be so perfect, and now people are so hungry for authentic that they love whenever I'll get on and do a Facebook Live, and I got yesterday's hair in a messy bun, and I'm just like, hey, I wanted to make sure and explain this, and people just love the authentic. They love you to be authentic. You know, it doesn't have to be polished and beautiful. And people love the journey of like, man, we tried this and this was really bad. So here's what we're doing next. Like, people love information and they love the journey. It doesn't have to be perfect.
I think for me, it is, what I would do differently is ask for help sooner. I am very strong-willed, but there's so many resources around here that you can get. I know Kelly is a great resource, and I still use her to this day. And I'm only one person right now. I do have help now, but if I would have done that sooner, I probably would have had a lot less stress and would have enjoyed the process a little bit more. But it is becoming more fun and, yeah, enjoying it much more with having more help. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Anybody else?
Yeah, say from the student standpoint, one thing that I think looking back on my career this far would be graphic design elements. I'm in the marketing and outreach side of things. I went through, did publication courses, stuff like that. But I think looking back now, graphic design, UX, all of that, I wish I would have taken more classes. That way, there's such a large portion of my job that has to do with billboards, digital advertising, reformatting things. There are so many different elements that you need different things reformatted or in a whole different realm of things. There's different RGB files, stuff like that, different color formats. And I think looking back now, I think taking even a design course or two would have been helpful in that aspect rather than me going back and doing training later.
Well, and I think as small business owners in general, we wear so many different hats. There's, the taxes side, there's the marketing side, there's the getting out there and boots on the ground kind of stuff and getting our name out there. And so, yeah, I mean, all these little hats that we wear make up one whole person, but it is important to get a little foundation in all of those so you're not kind of, well, and then also outsourcing when you need to. Like, we don't enjoy doing our taxes, but we have a CPA who we can go to and ask questions and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and being educated enough to ask good questions about that, like the UX and the design, even if you're not doing that yourself, when you go to a designer, you can have a conversation with them, and when they tell you what kind of files you get, you do need to be aware of, are those files sufficient? Do I need the vector? Do I need the raster? What do I need? And it's on us to educate about a little bit of each of those pieces. Yeah.
Do you all do your own social media? I know Brandy, I know you do. I know Micah does. Anita's just starting with the college marketing class to help. Do you do your own social media? Yeah. And how much time does that take? It takes a lot.
All of it.
It's 25 hours a day.
Time. It's hard, yeah.
You're on that a lot.
But doesn't that drive, I mean, I know it drives responses for you. Doesn't that drive people to check you out?
It drives people to check us out. You've got to be popping, and we always are doing research over our correct hashtags to use, and then consistency. But now I just started dabbling with OpenChat AI. Does anybody know about OpenChat AI? Oh, okay. Well,
ChatGPT? Yeah.
I do.
Like where it pops up and it says, how can we help? Like,
Oh.
I barely run my phone.
Okay.
yeah.
So Chat AI is like, you can put in, it helps me with, if I wanted to write an email, it will give me like bones of it, and then I can modify it to make it be my language. Okay, so y'all need me. So I have actually hired like a marketing coach, and then she loved me so much that me and her are partnering up to do high-end CEO coaching, because she needed an organizational person and a motivational person, and then she's the computer whiz, and then she wanted a partner. But no, the marketing takes forever. It's everything, and you know what? I thought about hiring a marketing coach or someone to help me, and then I thought about hiring somebody I spent big money on somebody to do my website, but it wasn't me. They made my husband look disgusting because he has like this wood shop thing called Building with David, but then he also makes a couple of wooden puzzles. So they had puzzle pieces, that's all they heard, puzzles, okay? They put puzzles all over the website, then it was like, come build a puzzle with David, and I was like, gross. That sounded like they didn't have our best interest in mind, and they were designers instead of being strategic about what they were doing. Yes, ma'am?
I know that several of you had careers with full-time employers before you jumped shipped and did your own thing. Can you talk about why that path was good, or how that helped you, or would you do that differently?
I want to know what everybody was before.
Yeah,
So-
that's a big story.
Megan and I were science nerds. We met looking at river detritus under a microscope at Missouri State University, doing our undergrads in biology. It's a tale as old as time. We got married. We went to Texas Tech for our masters. Mine's in natural resource management. Megan's is in environmental toxicology. So the running joke in our marriage was she kills things. I try to keep them alive. Not the best sales point now in pet care, just so you know. But we started.
My dog is still alive.
Yes, he is.
So are our cats.
Thank you. See, people can vouch. No, but we started pet sitting on the side as a way to earn extra money when we were in graduate school. And then I went for a PhD at the University of Texas at Arlington in quantitative biology. I then went and became a watershed streams biologist here with the Missouri Department of Conservation. And I was working there, traveling around the state, doing stream diagnostics. But we kept pet sitting. And when COVID hit, my job changed with the department, and we were looking for something different for our family, and our why changed in our life of what we wanted to do, the vision that we had. And we looked at each other and we're like, hey, we've been doing this pet sitting thing for almost 10 years now, 9 years. What if we did something with this? And we just went full time in it because we wanted to do something different, is what it was, is we changed. And now we looked at and it was a weird shift to go, yeah, I got the government job and I've got the retirement and I've got the title and we've got all this stuff. We should be fine. Why are we changing? And explaining that to people is hard, but staying true to yourself, being honest and authentic with it's not just communicating it to people. You have to do that with yourself first and understand your motivations for why you're in that position, why you're in that job. Why are you doing this? Why are you going for the degree? Why are you trying to do this next thing in your life? And understand it's okay to change.
Well, and is it because somebody else told you to do it? Is it were your parents saying, you must go to college, or you must get this certain degree, or you must be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever? But really internalizing and asking yourself the hard questions is really important, and it's going to get you much further than trying to prove something to somebody else.
It's that identity work, right? We allow people to put lenses on our faces to view ourselves in the mirror through whenever we are looking at ourselves. That happens when people speak things over you or call you things or tell you things that you start to internalize and believe. And then that influences your identity. You start living a lie. And then you have to pull yourself out of that, get connected with amazing people in this room, have that community, and be okay with change.
What did you do before? What did y'all do before?
Well, I was a music major in my first life, actually. The big change came when I jumped from music to banking. That led to accounting and a very satisfying career as a CPA in Texas, small business bookkeeping. So, no. And I did not transfer my license. No.
You said $1 million!
I will be glad to answer any questions, but I won't take your money, so you get what you pay for. I like to talk about money, I still do. But I also enjoy, textile work, yarn and embroidery and sewing. and I needed a retirement thing that would get me out of the apartment and down doing things like this and getting to talk to people. And literally, there was this vision about 10 years ago to run this shop. And the vision drove the purchase of the building, the total rehab, and now where I am. So, quite frankly, every day I sit down there and no one comes in, but I got to spend the day sewing and maybe talking to a few people. I'm literally blessed. So I wish for all of you what I have when you hit almost 70.
So I worked at a manufacturing facility for 38 years. And here in Sedalia, I started right not too long after I got out of high school. Never went to college. Never had the opportunity, but I know it looks like there's a lot of students in here, am I right? Yes. You guys are all interested in entrepreneurship, starting your own business.
These are high school kids.
Oh, they're high school
Aren't
kids.
you high school kids? They're both adults, high school adults.
Yeah.
Okay.
College students are over.
So here's the
College
deal.
students over here.
Be over here.
Here's the deal on my, like I said, I worked at this factory for 38 years, right? Started out a kid. Every day, some days, 10, 12-hour days, it's hot. And, getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning sucks. And the more you do it, you get trapped, but you get secure in that spot. You got insurance, you got this, you're going to work tomorrow. You know what you're gonna do tomorrow, right? And I was terrible blessed by being let go from this place, which, that sounds bad, after 38 years, and you have all this time and stuff invested in somebody else's company, right? So it was a blessing for me because, it gave me basically a year to, I was still financially secured from them with the severance stuff, whatever you call that thing. So it gave me just a tremendous blessing and opportunity to start this rental company with the RV rental stuff, but still have my safety net back here, right? A lot of people don't have that. But one thing I can tell you is not to be scared. Not to be scared to try something, Who's a baseball fan? Right, so everybody knows Yogi Berra and all the big guys, George Brett, right? 300 career hitters. They failed 7 out of 10 times. They failed, but they kept right on going, right? So don't be scared. If you've got an idea or something, who would have thought a guy could have made a living at renting a camper, or going fishing. I love to go fishing. My wife, that's one reason I started the guide service. I love to go fishing. My wife knew I was going to fish every day anyway, so I may as well try to make some money at it, right? So, and so that's what I done. I was, and after the year thing, I bounced, I done the RV stuff for about probably another year, something around there. And then went to a couple other management positions in the area for probably the next 3 years off and on. And it just wasn't for me. My business between the RV rentals and the fishing guide, the crappie guide service is what a job when you can sell fun, right? I mean, what's funner than going camping or going fishing to me? I mean, but don't be scared. Don't be scared to try something. Don't be scared. Don't let anybody tell you that it can't be done. If it can't be done, then you choose not to be successful and not to get it done.
So you asked what we did before. So I was a martial arts instructor, and then I was actually a full contact fighter and actually made money doing that. And I've fought in 5 countries as a heavyweight female. And so I always thought I would have a martial arts school. And then I went to college to be a pharmacist, but I ended up with a biology degree with a minor in physics. And then I was actually working for the VA, training their officers. And I was a handcuffing instructor and a nightstick instructor. So I know y'all look at me and I'm like, what? Anyways, I did that for almost 2 years and then got a degree in criminal justice as well, because the second college degree only took me 8 months. The first one takes you forever, right? It takes you like 4 years. Well, it took me 5.5, okay, because I was playing a lot in the first couple of years. But it only took me 8 months to get that second degree, and then I got a job as a loan officer at a bank, and which is ironic because the person would only hire people that had a bachelor's, but she didn't even finish high school. But she had worked there for forever, so she had work experience, you know. So, and then I wanted to fight more, so I became a school teacher. I did that for 11 years, just so I could fight during the summers, but then I really loved it. It allowed me to, my students loved me because they were like, you got black eye, or you just wearing purple? And I'm like, I got black eye on one and purple on the other, trying to match them. Anyways, and then my husband always wanted to own his family farm, so we literally quit our 2 best paying jobs and bought the family farm and then built everything ourselves. So a whole bunch of fighting and martial arts, some banking, some teaching, and I don't know, other stuff. I did everything. I cleaned people's houses. Whenever I was, after my second college degree, I was even working at a gas station, like just to make extra money. Nothing's been beneath me. I'm not too good to do anything. I want to make money. I want to make all the money. So, I don't know about y'all, but I like spending money. That means I gotta make it. So, whatever. Anyways, I have a weird story. I have a very weird story. So I used the physics degree, and all the fighting helped me in the mounted archery. I had never done archery until 2017, and now I'm the first person in the world to win the advanced division in mounted archery from a mule. So it got me on 2 magazine covers. Actually been on 6 magazine covers since 2014. And so, yeah, the world loves weirdos. And I'm a weirdo, and I'm very eclectic about stuff, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like. So, but I've had a weird freaking background. Could y'all imagine having me as a high school teacher? That was cool. The kids, they protected me. They didn't tell on me. Anyways, all right.
Move on, it's being recorded.
No, it's okay. I love my students. I still have great relationships with them over social media, and I keep up with them. Your teachers love you. I don't know if you know how much your teachers love you, but they literally, even the ones that are mean to you, they want what's best for you. So.
I started out at a high school, like my love was art and theater, but it wasn't practical at that time for me, so I moved on and I started out here at State Fair, and I started started towards the biology degree, and then in the middle of that, I was like, I just need to go do something. I'm tired of being in school, so I joined the Coast Guard. I was in the Coast Guard for a while. It took me throughout the United States. I was out in Oregon for a while on a boat crew, doing rescues out of the ocean. That was a lot of fun. And then I moved on. I was a marine science technician, and we were doing pollution down in the Gulf Coast. From there, I realized that I definitely didn't want to stay in Louisiana, especially that far down south in Louisiana. There was not a whole lot there. So I moved on. I got a teaching degree as well. I didn't want to do that very long. I quickly moved on from that and decided I was going to get a Montessori certification. And then I started questioning why in the world I would be getting a certification to not make as much money and not have benefits. And so then we were in Missouri at that time, moved back out to Oregon. Then I was just like a career hobbyist for a while. I've done jiu-jitsu, I took up skateboarding out there, we did a lot of biking, I blew out my knee on a bike. So I have a lot of yeah.
Weirdo up here besides me. This is great. I didn't research Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. So I had a lot of experience with injury. I'm also a power lifter. I've been doing that for about 5 years. And so I'm in the gym a lot, and I was always hearing about injury. I was always, my friends were like, I need a massage. And So I was like, good way to get money from everybody around me. But I quickly fell in love with the practice. I fell in love with school. I was there during COVID. It kept me alive during that time, I feel like. It was a very healing environment, and it provided me with close friendships and a lot of healing in my body. I was coming from the gym and going to school and getting body work and feeling good when I went home and getting that human connection. And then we moved from Oregon out to South Carolina. South Carolina wasn't our spot, so we came back to Missouri. And I don't want to work for other people. I don't want to work for somebody else, so I just started my own practice. And I'm trying to market it and brand it right now and get it out there and continue to grow. And I recently met with a group of other ladies in the wellness industry to start like a wellness circle for women in Sedalia.
So I am still very early on in my career. When I first started at Center for Human Services, I was just the communications coordinator. I did press releases, and I worked with Susan, and she took me under her wing to build those community connections, and I had started that, but as the need for marketing, communications, and PR, like you guys said, it takes a team to make it work. And the need for it grew to not just have a development director and not just have a marketing or communications coordinator, but then I went on to then being the marketing manager at the center. And again, the need was growing. We expanded into, when I started, I think we were in the lower 30s county-wise, and we are now in 47 counties. We've just taken on another company, so the need has just grown over even my career at CHS, and now I'm the director over outreach and marketing at the center.
So I went to nursing school actually here at State Fair, and I got my bachelor's through UMKC. I am still a nurse, so I do still work full-time and do my side business. But the hope is to keep growing and not be that anymore. I love nursing. I work from home, so I do different nursing. I've done just a little bit of everything, honestly. I've worked in the hospital, I've worked in clinics. I do like working from home, but I'm kind of the same. I want to be my own boss now, and I love what I do with the well-balanced table. So right now I'm doing both. I wouldn't recommend it unless you have to.
A lot of hours.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours, it's a lot of late nights, it's a lot of getting help from the family, but yeah, it is what it is right now.
I'm kind of in Marissa's boat. I'm obviously very early in my career. My career is not being president of the Young Professionals. I do have a full-time job. I work at Central Bank in the marketing department. I am actually looking to, one day I hope to sound like Brandy and her down here as to just, I love school. I am getting ready to go back to get my graduate degree in communication. I actually recognize a lot of you guys because I've been your substitute teacher before. And so sorry about you. I'm actually coming back to the high school, so be prepared. I'm coming back, in a couple weeks, so.
You haven't escaped yet.
Yeah, you haven't escaped yet. I love school, I love teaching, so I'm going back with the hopes of hopefully being a professor in communications and the research side of it. I also have my own marketing business on the side. I don't do a whole lot with it right now, but kind of like you guys have done through grad school, that's kind of my hope, is to do that on the side and help carry me through a little bit with some extra money. And then I, at this point, really don't know 100% what I want to end up doing, but again, like I said, one day I hope to sound like Brandy and just do it all. Like, there's nothing that I don't necessarily want to try. I want to try at least everything once, and I enjoy going back to school, and there's something really special about being in a classroom setting with people that think like you do and are interested in the same things you are. So I'm looking forward to that a lot.
I am a teacher for the school district. I work at Horseman. So I already have a full-time job, but during the summer, I always do something to make money. So I've stuck with food service for a while. I've worked at different places. One summer I was a farmhand. That is not for me. But it was really eye-opening. It was a really good experience. It was not with animals, it was with plants, and you can still talk to them, and they appreciate you. And so after that summer, I was like, that was great, but also absolutely ridiculous. That is not for me. I need to do something that I want to do in my 3 months off. So I started my own little art studio, and I too kind of want to do my own thing and also have something that's built up so that when I can retire from public education, then I have a business that I've grown, I love, is totally me, my identity, and will be there for me when I'm ready.
Question for you. How many square feet do you need?
Oh, yeah, that's not a good question. I don't know
Okay.
things like that.
You're not ready for that now.
I don't, yeah, I don't know. The space that I was in before that I had rented, I know how many square feet it was, but I didn't use all of it, I guess. So
So you need a small space.
a small space, but like like 2 small spaces.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's your personal thing.
Oh, okay.
I will keep it in mind. I mean, what?
Yes.
Anita and I own the downtown building that she is in, but but then I also do Thompson Hills, a lot of others. So,
Gotcha.
I hear things. So
Yes.
if I can help you, that's
I
yes.
appreciate it.
See, whenever I was your age, I would have felt weird hearing all of our stories, because I'm 43, I've had a minute to do some stuff. And sometimes I just want to hang it up and get a job and work for somebody else and let them have the headache. I will tell you like that. I'm just like, screw it. Okay, I want to have I want to have insurance that's better. I want to have vacation time that's set. And I want to sometimes I miss that. But I don't know. I feel like it would be really hard for me to conform back because I'm used to doing what I want to do. But man, I will tell you, sometimes there's a lot of consistency, you know what I mean? And like a little bit less stress sometimes not working for yourself. This is not for everybody. This is rough. But if you want to, you're going to have to go all out. You're going to have to go all out, and it doesn't have to be a bunch of money spent. But I don't want you to think that we don't, I'm sure all of us sometimes are just like, man, I should just go back to teaching and having them summers off. I miss my 78.5 days off that I got from Independent School District when I worked there. And I don't know, I do miss that. There's a lot to be said about that. And a lot of my friends that have worked in some of the factories or the industries here, man, they have a really nice retirement package. And I'm my retirement package. I don't know. So I don't want you to think that we don't appreciate all that stuff, because I don't know. This isn't for everybody. I don't want y'all to be like, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything. Well, I think maybe I could have achieved more if I would have figured stuff out a little earlier instead of being like, everywhere.
We got a question over here. Yeah, I just wondered if anyone's comfortable to share how your faith plays a role in your business, stewardship, ownership. Do you view your business as an extension of that faith? And then how has your faith helped pull you through some of the rough times?
I talk to God every day. My assistant will probably vouch for that. For me personally, I rely on it heavily. I know it's not for everybody, and to myself be true or whatever. But yeah, I rely on it very much. We focus on that also. I feel like this is where I am being pulled into going. So that's kind of why I am going towards this direction. Because I do have a very good job being a nurse. But I also know I can always fall back on that if for some reason this didn't work out. Because I know when I first started this, my husband thought I was crazy. Midlife crisis or something, I don't know. But he too, we prayed on it, and as a family, we just know that this is something that feel like I'm being full to do, and yeah, so for me, that's what we.
I use it a lot. Well, to begin with, my last several years in bookkeeping were for a church. So that was, I got very used to not only doing books, but being part of a bigger purpose. You know, I mean, the purpose isn't just to write the checks to people, the purpose is to help people. So, and I find myself, and I guess I'm sort of proud that I got here, and I shouldn't say that. But, you know, when someone comes in, you sort of focus just on that person. And whatever that background is, and whatever you can do to help that person. And it's a good feeling just to connect one-on-one. And then also part of the business is helping to the point that I get to write checks to my vendors. That's a blast. You know, to help someone else out like that. And then the crochet for the cause is the same kind of thing. You know, it's not overt. I don't have a picture of the bishop at the shop or anything. But, and then conversely, there is a line that I don't cross with things I can accept for consignment. So far, there's been one shirt, you know, and it's like, no, we're not going to talk about the president that way. Sorry. But that is there as well.
Well, I personally, I know where I am because of who I believe in. I believe that I don't put none of my success at all on myself. I've done nothing. And then this is just me. I'm not gonna preach to you kids. I'm not gonna go that way. But one of my rules is always to keep the main thing the main thing. And I feel like if you lose that insight, then you're headed. You took a wrong turn somewhere. But that's just me.
We've got about 10 minutes left. Do you guys have anything more that you would like to share? Or do we have any last minute questions?
I've got a question. You take her.
Okay, so,
Well, I have two things. As a newly retired person, I will say, find a job, a profession that you enjoy, and it won't be work. 43 years, I did what I enjoyed, and I got paid, and retired, and now I'm giving back. So my advice to students, or anybody, is make sure you enjoy what you do. Life is too short. And my other thing is, one of the best vacations we ever took was renting Mark's RV. It was a vintage RV, and we had a blast. And that was a long time ago. I think you just started.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a fun trip, rent one of his RVs. It's a lot cheaper than buying one. And you'll decide whether it's for you or not. But I have to say, it was a blast. And all we did was go down the highway maybe an hour from here, and it was a blast. So if you want a fun family or couples trip or single.
I didn't pay her for this.
No, you didn't. I'm telling you, it wasn't that the best? It was the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So rent his RV.
My question is, you know, a lot of you are starting out on your journey. Randy, obviously you have a lot of
I'm
experience.
only on 8 years.
But you're a little bit more involved here, and I think the Crochet for a Cause is where my question is going. As an entrepreneur, you start out for different reasons. You start out for, I want to make the money, I want to be my own boss, I want to set my own schedules, and I thank you for telling these young folks that it's not so easy all the time. But at some point in time, has your journey changed from the passion for those things to the passion for what can I do for the culture of my community? What can I provide back? Whether it's, you know, with the dog walking thing, I know that people partner with the animal shelter for adoptions and things like that. You start to look more what you can do as a philanthropist in the community to help out with the work that you do.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We only got 10 minutes.
I know. Man, you know what, with our businesses evolving, we are just like, what do we want to do? Because there's a whole lot of work and then there's money coming in, but it's just a lot of work. The building with David, that allows me, because we are, they get like a wood kit and it's, man, we have a sawmill, a kiln, and a USA-made CNC. And whenever all that COVID stuff hit and a lot of kids went to private school, they went to homeschool, or they, you know, if they stay public school. But now, I miss teaching. My husband loves to build. That's why he built Von Holton Ranch. Well, now we figured out exactly what we want to do. We want kids to be able to gain confidence from building with that. And then I want to take out a lot of the stuff that I was forced to teach kids that they did not need. Okay, so I love that I have the power to do that and condense it and be like, here is something that you might not be able to have, because a lot of schools don't have wood shop anymore, or they might not have access to that at home or in public schools or in private schools. So like, we're just like, we feel like we're making America better by being able to provide a service for them so they can learn how to build with their hands, because so many blue collar jobs are talked down about, and those are people going to be making more money than doctors and lawyers, because nobody wants to be a plumber or a carpenter or something. That's not the way it is. We're trying to bring pride back to blue collar America, and like that right there is what we're wanting to do. And that's why we muffled our other businesses so we can do something, because we think it's good for everyone. We think it's good for our whole country. And that's why that whole project, it cost us so much money and time, and to give up and squash a business that is doing financially well for the hope that something will, but I know it will because I believe in it. So yes, like, it allows me to do something that I think is going to help y'all and help your younger brothers and sisters gain confidence and learn how to do something, so they don't always have to hire it all out, because everything is so freaking expensive, and if you can do it yourself, then you can keep your money in your freaking pocket. So I'm a little bit passionate about that. So anyways, and then you had something.
So part of, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, like, as I grow my practice, and I talked about a minute ago, I've spoken with other women in the wellness field, 2 other yoga instructors, myself and another lady who are getting together for like a wellness circle in Sedalia, bringing wellness to women. I know that not everybody has access to massage because it costs money. I also know that not everybody has access to health because it costs money. So we got together in the hopes to bring wellness to Sedalia and bring women into our circle and provide it to them through monthly meetings, maybe once a year events, something to that effect, so that we can affect a whole entire community. And so that is more of a grassroots movement. And so it's not just me in a capitalist field trying to capitalize on people all this time. That's a constant thought process in my head.
So part of my business, and it started kind of by a fluke, off of a Craigslist ad, is we're a preferred provider by State Farm Insurance in Kansas City, Kansas, and in southern Missouri for providing temporary housing for displaced families, either due to fires, floods, tornadoes. I've had campers, and believe it or not, people were awful grateful when you pull up to the place and their house and everything they have is completely gone. And you can supply, and all those clients are in rural areas. I mean, like up in Sedalia or in Kansas City, in a big city, it's not feasible to do that. But when these people are out in the country and they have livestock, they've got animals to take care of, and everybody knows when you're going away from your place for extended time, things come up missing or damaged or stolen, whatever. So we're also a preferred customer with, it's a temporary housing development out of Dallas, Fort Worth. I've put in bids for campers of displaced families almost in every state. Almost. So, it's not for free. We work with their insurance company, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that there's not a lot of months that I don't get paid for that. But it feels awful good to be able to help someone when they've lost. I mean, you guys sit here and imagine if you got home and everything that you have, the only thing that you have is what you have on. and everything's gone, you know, it makes you feel good. It's not always about the money. It's just not. With me, it's not. It's not always about the money, but we do that. We supply, you know, I still have a camper down Stockton Lake that's been there. March 1st will be a year, those people's house burnt down. That camper's in Kansas for a year and a half. So,
I think for us, it's the employment of other people. So not only are we impacting the community through the pets that we care for, we go into people's homes, but we employ 7 people between here and Springfield. And so we are allowing them to put food on their table, to care for their own families, care for their own pets. And so the giving back, yes, the shelters and that kind of philanthropy is important, but it's also through the employment of other people. We are providing jobs to the community. And we're able to serve more and more families and more pets because of the people that we bring on.
We've got 3 minutes left, so if we want to end on, if you have one piece of advice for somebody that is about to start their own business or wants to start their own business, maybe something that you wish you would.
go get it. Go get it, don't be scared. If you fail, pick yourself up and go get it again.
I think Acton had something earlier when she mentioned Kelly, the resources.
Yeah.
And it was a free resource, free resources.
I liked what Colin said about not being afraid to evolve and identity work. So after working on the farm, then I did start doing a lot of identity work because that was just something I'd never done before. I've always identified myself as like a waitress, a teacher, of whatever, and so no, I'm not going to identify as a farmer, but then I started looking at what I liked about that and what it brought to me personally. And yeah, I'm still doing a lot of identity work. So I think it's okay to change, it's okay to evolve, it's okay to be one person this day and know that you are someone different the next. And let that guide your life instead of your mom and dad saying I'm paying for college if you become a nurse or if you do this or whatever it is. Don't be afraid to blaze your own path and follow what you really want.
Set boundaries if you need to. I think that's important in my practice. I started off just thinking that I was just gonna take all clients. And I ran into situations I was uncomfortable with. And I know now that I need to set, strong boundaries for myself. And, if there are clients that I'm not okay with, I get to fire them, and they're not gonna come back into my practice if I am uncomfortable coming back into my practice because of them. And writing my own narrative, I get to write my own narrative in massage, health, and wellness, and kind of blaze my own path in who I am. I guess identity work is where I'm going with that.
You should see how many people I have blocked on social media. I gotta do this about 5 times, okay? You see the list, I take the trash out, you know, something that, a statement that helps me is, if I'm too much, then go find less. You know, if I'm too bold, then go find somebody that's less bold. If I'm too strong, go find somebody that's weak. If I'm too much, then go find less.
I said mine, go get it.
I can't follow any of this.
I think for me, it's been my circle, so moving from Springfield and a bigger community, and I went to the same school since I started, and then college, I went to college with a lot of the same people that I went to high school with, and so moving here, I started completely over, and, it's not hard for me to make new friends, like am not saying that it's not, but the community that I have gotten, I can look through this room and I recognize almost every single person, and almost every single person in this room has made an impact on my life. And when I'm going forward and making the decision to quit a stable job and go back to school or do a side job or whatever the case may be, it's so important to know the people that are always going to be in your corner, and it's going to be people that you don't necessarily expect. So whenever I was introduced into the Young Professionals, I had never heard of it. I'd never known of it. It was never saying, hey, we're going to start this group again. who's interested in being on the board, who's interested in being a member. And as deciding that I was going to lead this group, I was so nervous of kind of how Brady said earlier, you know, you kind of go from having to have that mindset of not caring about what other people are gonna think anymore. So are people gonna follow, you know, the ideas that I have for this organization, or are people gonna want to go spend time with me doing this and other people? And when we first started the group, it was throwing a bunch of strangers into a room together and saying, here you go, figure this out. And now I think that it's so easy to say that we have an amazing group that supports each other so much. And it's pretty amazing to have someone that can help you and have those resources and the networking, because professional wise, looking at it, networking and having those connections are absolutely everything. It's 100% who you know and not what you know. And I think even for the people who have beyond education, you know, it's the people that you're around that are gonna be the good influence on your life. So make sure that the people you choose are the right ones.
For this younger crowd, my mom finished the 8th grade and my dad can't read. And I have 3 college degrees and he has more felonies than I have college degrees. It don't matter where you start at. Okay.
Anybody else? I will just say, for me, I know, I have a friend that still to this day says it to me, comparison is the thief of joy. So don't compare your journey to anybody else's, and it's never too late to do something different. So, yeah, don't be afraid, just do it.
We're over time, y'all gotta get back to your stuff.
Everybody good?
Okay, thank you guys for coming. I know we kind of went over on time, but we'll all have a lot of really good stuff to say. So, we will come back, let's see, next month on March 1st. So, we'll see you then. Thanks for coming.